And so just want to say welcome and thank you all for being here. Cannot believe the first PreSales Collective Executive Summit is here. I'm James Kaikis. I'm joined by my fellow co-founder, Yuji Higashi. Yuji and I have both led pre-sales organizations at fast-paced startups. Yuji was and still is at Outreach. I was at Showpad prior to moving to Salesforce. Exactly a year today, and exactly a year ago today, actually. And we're thrilled and honored for you to be here. I really can't thank everyone enough. I mean, it's been really amazing to see the community come together, and really to have this Exec Summit it's fantastic, right? It really is. And so everyone who's here, thank you for being here. I know that we have busy schedules, demanding schedules. Some of us, it's our last week of the fiscal quarter, so thanks for making time. I also want to thank the Cisco team for helping make this event possible. And thanks to all our presenters who put a lot of time and effort into making sure that we're delivering high quality content and stories today and throughout today's and tomorrow's session. That being said, I do want to talk about this feeling of a pre-sales movement. Now, let's be honest here that 2020 has been a rough year for all of us, some more so than others, and we definitely want to be sensitive to that. But in light of this amazing event that we're going to be having today and tomorrow, we do want to talk about the positives and highlight the amazing things that are happening in our pre-sales profession. And what started as maybe a few people posting on LinkedIn in January, myself included, I think it was like a New Year's resolution. People were wanting to be a little more active. In my opinion, has turned into a real movement. I mean, what we've seen are organizations and products are geared toward this profession and gaining momentum. I mean, I have personally met at least a dozen individuals who've come up with a product in the last 6 months. Multiple podcasts around pre-sales are popping up. A few authors have come up with books recently as well, and the term pre-sales and similar terms are continuing to be top of mind. I was actually recently talking to Matt Darrow at Vivin about pre-sales and the movement that's happening, and Matt's going to be presenting tomorrow. But we were talking about his company, Vivin, and going through a funding. And previously, when they're going through their seed round and talking to investors, they had to educate people on what pre-sales was. And this year, they just announced the Series A funding last month. Congratulations to the Vivin team. He mentioned that people that wanted to invest knew what pre-sales was, what it was. They knew what it was, they knew our function, and they knew how important our role is to technology, right? We say this all the time with PreSales Collective. As technology continues to expand and become a broader part of our day-to-day, our role is only getting more and more important. And that feeling and that momentum has really changed and shifted throughout 2020, and we're really excited to continue on with the momentum for the rest of this year and into next year. And that said, I want to talk about just PreSales Collective just quickly, because what started as an idea to bring pre-sales professionals together has turned into a full-blown global community. And I just want to briefly read our mission statement, because I do feel like it's the center and the core of everything that we do. Because with the PreSales Collective, we do provide professionals with the resources, knowledge, network, mentorship to develop long and impactful careers. We want PreSales Collective to be a place where pre-sales professionals or people who want to aspire to be pre-sales professionals will feel supported in their professional journey and their professional development. And that being said, we want to recognize all of the amazing things that people before us and now and will continue to do in pre-sales. You know, there's so many groups and so many things targeted to our sales counterpart, but not enough resources to our pre-sales profession. And really, that's why the PreSales Collective was born. And, you know, for PreSales Collective, we joke that we started the pandemic with a full-time job and a side hobby. This has become a full-time job for many of us. And many people are putting a lot of time, energy, and effort into making this community happen, which is really amazing, right? And people have asked, like, what is the vision of PreSales Collective? But I will tell you, we have a vision and we're actioning on it, but the community is what helps dictate where we're going to continue to go. And that's part of being the PreSales Collective, and giving back to the community is offering that. Now, that being said, you know, one of the things that we really wanted to focus on was making sure we have two-way communication. So things like Slack and things like this two-day summit to give back to the community. because what's most important about this slide is the 125 plus contributing members. Those are people on the blogs, the podcasts, the webinars, and our profession has done a great job over the last decade or two, but sometimes there aren't that many faces and people that are being recognized for the work and effort that they're doing. And that's our goal. Our goal is to change that. And so just briefly, I want to talk about some of the things that we're focusing on for the end of the year. High level, PreSales Collective is over 6,500 individuals worldwide with a goal to get to 8,000 by the end of the year. We want to continue to focus on our programs like WISE and Women in Solutions Excellence. Big shout out to Leah, Kelly, the Splunk, DocuSign, and Salesforce teams that are working tirelessly to help, where we're going to be working on projects and blueprints that are frameworks to give back to the community. We're also working on new types of content, and we're also looking to focus on building local chapters. We've actually had 3 chapters come up in the last month, and it's because we sit here and we talk about catering to our customers. So why should I help dictate, and Yuji help dictate what PreSales Collective should be telling people in Japan or Australia or Paris, right? Wherever you might be, we're going to be creating groups that help cater content to your local language and local topics that matter to you. We'll be continuing to run webinar series. We're actually going to be surveying the community and talking about the data that we get in these webinars over the next couple months. We'll continue to invest in our jobs channel, and we're going to be doing some community service. Now, we're going to be talking about this just briefly because we'll give more about this at the closing today. But PreSales Collective in 2021, we want to double down on our programs. We have an amazing WISE program that we're going to be launching. We have a very well-known investor in Silicon Valley, a board member who's going to be kicking off our 2021 WISE program, DEI, pre-sales funnel. We're going to be focusing on events. Events are here to stay, in virtual events. Actually, in November, we're going to start planning what we're calling the next generation of pre-sale leaders. So if you have individuals that are in their first year or two of management or want to get into management, we're going to be hosting an event for that. We'll continue with the hiring events. We'll do the leadership summit, and hopefully we'll do those in person. And then some of the things that you're going to be seeing out a little bit more are training programs, Training 101. So the community has actually built a technical training for pre-sales folks that's going to be released in November, and we're going to continue to offer things that will help upskill and train the global community. Additionally, we're partnering with educational individuals like Sealy to offer programs and training to those individuals. And again, as I mentioned, benchmarks and studies. But most importantly, we're going to be focusing on you, the PreSales Leadership Collective. And that is really the future of PreSales Collective. So I'm going to be handing it off to Yuji to speak a little bit further to that.
Thanks, James. So let's talk about the PreSales Leadership Collective, which is the group that we have here today. So everybody that's Director Plus in a pre-sales capacity. I want to tell you a little bit about what we've done so far for the folks that are new to the group, and then also a little bit about what we have planned for the future of the Leadership Collective specifically. So far, we've done 4 leadership roundtables, which consist of dozens of members from this group joining for 2 hours per month to discuss topics relevant to pre-sales leaders, topics like performance management, pre-sales metrics, and other topics like that. We'll continue to host pre-sales leadership roundtables into the future on at least a monthly basis. So if you're interested in getting involved, look out for communication on the roundtables. Of course, we have our private Slack channel as well, which is really meant to be a safe space for us as leaders to ask questions that we're challenged with in our day-to-day or as we go into planning. And I think a lot of the folks who have been in the channel so far have done a great job of providing insight and sharing experiences. So we'd love to have you involved in the Slack channel. Going forward, we want to establish a leadership council to help propel the Leadership Collective forward and establish a really good plan and a set of programs that provide value to all of you. One of those such programs would be mentoring, right? So as leaders and at this stage in our careers, we know that we wouldn't have got here without really good coaching or mentoring. And so what we want to do is provide that in the context of pre-sales, because we all love pre-sales. That's why we're in the roles. And so we want to provide opportunities to connect with coaches and mentors to help you along. Recognize some of the incredible things, recognition, that's also something we want to do, is we want to recognize some of the incredible things that you as leaders are doing to make an impact on your businesses and also your own communities. We want to continue to provide a platform for pre-sales leaders to have a voice beyond their immediate organization. So a great example of that is today, right, where we have 20 plus leaders on the virtual stage sharing insight and thought leadership and their experiences. So that's something we want to continue to do. And then lastly, we want to pay it forward by producing publications, right? Something that we haven't had historically in pre-sales, a lot of good resources or articles or books available to us. And so that's something we want to continue to do as a leadership group here. We're really excited for what's in store for the Pre-Sales Leadership Collective, and we're so happy that you're here at the beginning of this journey with us. So let's jump in. I know we're short on time here, so let's jump into what's in store for today. We'll kick it off with Jeff in the keynote for Vision of Pre-Sales. He has a special guest joining him during the session, so stay tuned for that. Then we'll go to Jennifer and Todd to cover Pre-Sales Organizational Design, which was a super relevant topic for many of us who are probably going into planning for next year. Then Richard Armstrong will get into performance management during the pandemic.